Alison, and I'm going to talk to you today about technology and how it's causing the death of person-to-person communication. In 1979, in an effort to boost the long-distance calling sales, Southwestern Bell created an ad campaign stating, "Reach out and touch someone." I find it hard to accept that in the subsequent 30 years, through the overuse of technology, this idea has become completely irrelevant. I say that technology manifesting itself in its various forms today is robbing us of the ability and, more importantly, the desire to reach out and touch someone. Technology is described very ambiguously, has many definitions in the dictionary. However, the one most pertinent to this discussion is technology described as the sum of the ways in which social groups provide themselves with the material objects of their civilization, i.e. cell phones, iPods, laptops, all the things we love. All these things are undermining communication through our fervent use of these devices and our quickness to throw out over 8,000 years of civilized personal communication, where it's becoming impossible for us to communicate on a one-on-one basis. We're losing the first, best, and most essential skill to life, the ability to communicate. Look around the room. I often see people using their cell phones in class and believing that it's appropriate and okay. Everywhere we look, technology is happening. It's essential to everything we do. Even if we don't want to participate in it, our hands are forced. I can count on one hand how many people I know who don't have either a MySpace or a Facebook account and believe that it's essential to keep in touch with the myriad family and friends that we all have. Now, and who in this room doesn't have both a cell phone and a home computer? You'd be hard-pressed to find someone. I believe cell phones are causing a major breakdown in personal communication. Connecting to anyone, anywhere, at any time makes everything so simple that real conversation is no longer desired. Quick informational calls pass between husband and wife, mother and daughter, and friends. And it happens even at the most inappropriate times when people think it's okay. A woman came into my church last Sunday talking on her phone, and 2 weeks ago, when I went to the doctor's office, the doctor whom I paid to see me, I had to pay, answered a phone call from his tax accountant while I was seeing him, and he thought that was A-okay, no problem. The human desire to communicate with others is a naturally occurring motivation for us. However, technology decreases the amount of significant human interaction we have. I find texting another huge problem. It's extremely impersonal. We think that we can convey the appropriate messages to our friends and loved ones by using acronyms and smiley faces. The sender speech patterns aren't, you don't have them, so you can't, that doesn't indicate the emotional emphasis behind the message being sent. It's a blatant breakdown in the communication process. We think texting is better, we think it's faster, better way to communicate. However, Morse code, which is a 170-year-old technology, will beat out the fastest and best texter every time. If it's not better and it's not faster, why are our fingers so ready to text? It's easier. We can send curt, unimportant, unnecessary information to one another when we're bored, when we have extra time to do nothing. My mom teaches 5th grade, and she often finds her students texting one another. "Hi, I'm in class, what are you doing?" "Oh, hi, I'm in lunch, what are you doing?" "Hi, I'm in school suspension because I was using my phone in class," Our phones take pictures, they store information, they hold addresses, they even spell for us. I know I can't contact more than 10 people if I lose my SIM card. I no longer keep hard copies of phone numbers or addresses anywhere. All of this is a bastardized form of communication, which allows for us to disconnect. Also, it's a big problem with instant gratification. We expect to be responded to instantaneously, and when that doesn't happen, it can really rock your world, Instant validation is constantly occurring, and we can't appreciate delayed gratification any longer. We don't have the patience for it. I think computers today have advanced society in the past 50 years more than we've advanced in the past 300. They seem to make everything possible, as we can tell. However, if everything's so wonderful from computers, how come a whole new group of social deviants has emerged? How come parents have to look around every internet chat room corner for the next pedophile who's seeking out their children? Also interesting is email etiquette. It's emerged as a way to try to realign some of the depersonalization occurring. But you can communicate only when you want, where you want, at what times you choose to. And this really it adds to communication apprehension. Something I hate to see is the death of the handwritten note. Word processing programs make quick work of the bad speller or someone who has incorrect grammar. Handwriting's not even being taught in schools anymore. There's something really personal in receiving a handwritten note from someone. You know that they've taken time out of their day to think about you and put forth that effort. An e-card really isn't the same thing because the thought behind the action is taken away. And a side note, emailing is calling the loss of thousands of jobs in the real communication industry. I mean, UPS, post office, things, hard copy things. Last but not least, in this fight for the attention of the average American, are our iPods and gaming consoles. I recently inherited a new used car after a death in my family, and the radio doesn't work. But that's no problem for me because I have an iPod, as I know most of y'all do. I used it at work, I used it in the car, of course, at the pharmacy, at the grocery store. All this happens, and I'm participating in selective exposure and not to a positive end. It's a dangerous behavior that causes inattention to people and things going on around us. There's a man I work with who sometimes keeps his earbuds in, even when he's not listening to any music, just so he doesn't have to interact with anybody. We're becoming wrapped up in our ever-shrinking world. I mean, you know, you just don't want to interact with anyone. You can go around not talking to anyone. I think gaming consoles are worse because the users get sucked into alternate realities. There's role-playing games, and people, both adults and kids alike, are choosing the virtual worlds over the real world. I think it's interesting that the Wii brings outdoor sports into your home. Is golf really golf if you're playing in front of a television and not out on 18 holes? I say no, it's not. We're losing fair play, good sportsmanship, and worst of all, we're losing the camaraderie that athletics brings to our society. Our problem-solving skills are being limited, and we're becoming truncated as people. In conclusion, be it cell phones, texting, iPods, or computers, we're all moving away from one another to live in a virtual world. We want to believe that the information being given to us is true, but we don't know where it's coming from. We don't know its purpose in coming to us, and nor do we realize how much misinformation can really impact our lives. With information at our fingertips, we think we're moving towards a better, more informationally advanced place. I don't know anybody who even uses encyclopedias anymore, which I miss. You use it on your phone. We're not moving towards a better world, but we're moving towards a more ignorant and lazy world. You know, we used to place a person-to-person call to get closer to the ones we love through the advancements happening in technology. I doubt if many of you remember even what a person-to-person call is, and nor do we want to be bothered with interpersonal interactions, period. Guys, look at your life. See if you're disconnecting from the world around you and what it means to be human.
Thanks. Very good.